I host a show on CBS Sports Network called The Early Edge, but the morning show, that's usually at noon or 1 o'clock. But the morning show is on the Sportsline YouTube channel.
Yeah, hold on. That's not that early.
Yeah, but that's not the show. The early show is 10 o'clock.
Okay, but the Early Edge feels like it should be earlier.
Well,
You're entering the Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, Scottish Open, DraftKings picks, final bets, the weather, an overview, maybe a golf fight. We'll see. Sia Nejad stepping in for Toe Tag and Tambo this week, who's God knows where, probably winning bucks. I don't know if he advanced in the Fantasy Golf World Championship or not. I was going to ask him on the show, and then obviously he's not here. Sia, how's it going, my man? You got a first round leader winner for me right off the hop?
oh my gosh. Let's go there right away. I've got 4. You want to hear all 4 that I'm going to bet?
Hit me.
Okay, so we're going afternoon times. We can talk about the weather in a little bit, but it looks like it might be more calm in the afternoon on Thursday. I'm going with, Matt Fitzpatrick, Ryan Fox, Max Grazerman, and Vic Perez. That's all between 65 and 110 to 1.
Big Dick Vic Perez. I actually have Grazerman coming up a little bit later on in the final bets. I haven't made any first round leader bets. It does seem, as we're speaking right now later on a Tuesday evening, it does seem like the only wind of the week is early on Thursday. Now, as a precaution, this is Scotland, so when we get there, it might be completely the inverse, where there's just no weather on Thursday morning, and it's the gustiest thing you've ever seen for the rest of the week. That's just not what it's shaping up to be right now. So we'll break that down a little bit later on, but PM AM stacks are looking like where you need to be. Reminder to all of you, smash the like while you're here, and then sub to Mayo Media Network. In the comments section, give me your favorite first round leader for the Scottish Open. You do that, Sia, and you get into a draw for a free PXG Black Ops driver given away the day after the Open Championship right here on the Pat Mayo Experience. What do you think about that?
That's pretty great. You're doing a lot of cool things on your channel. I've heard you referencing a cool bet and a poker tournament. Like that is certainly during the World Series of Poker main event too. Like there's a lot of reasons to tune in beyond Pat Mayo and his guests themselves. It's good stuff.
See, I need you as my official hype man, as the more clean-cut version of me, the more serious version of me. Get out there promoting. We'll make millions.
I'm in. I just need my 3% cut, and I'm in, Pat.
I'll cut off part of that driver and give it to you if you want.
That's cool too.
What do you make of the tour moving overseas? Do you find it changes everything up? Because I always say that to think that I'm trying to think about 2 years ago. I guess Rory would have won the Zurich that year. That I think that every winner of the Scottish Open had basically won within the last 2 months previously on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and I guess that shouldn't shock us necessarily. I mean, although you're talking about exclusively PGA Tour winners there, but obviously if you're coming in with good form, that's always going to help no matter where you are. I mean, listen, I think, I don't know that we would define this as like a true link style test necessarily, but certainly has plenty of elements of it. And with that in mind, some of those European players who also might be in good form, but, on a lesser tour, if you will, on the world tour, like I'm looking at some of those guys too, and we get into the DraftKings pricing and things of that nature. There'll be some names there, but yeah, I mean, listen, recent winners, it kind of goes hand in hand with recent form. So I wouldn't necessarily, X out a guy because he hasn't won, but certainly the winners are in play.
Most definitely. Do you have any sort of skill set that you're looking for, especially from some of these more unknown Euros?
Well, I'm really looking at recent form, particularly like, again, on the world tour, more than anything. I mean, listen, I want distance just like anybody else, whether it's a PGA Tour player or a World Tour player. Off the tee distance, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for guys who are good putters. And I will say that I do think these slow fescue greens lend themselves to maybe some of these DP World Tour players, kind of rising up a little bit relative to some of the PGA Tour players. So I do think, I don't know that evens things out for them on the greens, but I certainly want to look that way, knowing that they might be a touch more comfortable here.
Well, let's take a look here. The past 24 rounds, using Fantasy National right now, sorted by average speed and Velcro speed. So, probably what we're going to get here. And next week, too. I've already recorded over an hour of the research show for the Open Championship. A lot of accents in that show, Sia.
That sounds fun. I can't wait to listen to that. Who you got on that one?
Tom Jacobs is on to break down the back end of potential guys that could come top 20, low end DraftKings plays for the Open Championship that play primarily on the DP World Tour. And Niall Lyons was on. He's Irish and he is going to be at the course. He was there in 2019 to help me break it down a little bit, like what you need. And again, it's funny that you say like this one's not super linksy, and you're correct. There's a difference next week with Royal Portrush that, as he kept articulating to me, that it doesn't really translate through that much on television, but you can't really run the ball up to a lot of those holes like you can at most link style courses. It's a lot of elevated greens from around the green. So there's not a lot of like bump and run going on. There are for a few holes, but generally you need to put the ball up in the air at that course, which is sort of antithetical to what you would think about most link style or British Open courses.
What do you think that does to maybe some of the American players that aren't used to playing the link style courses? Does that even the playing field a little bit when you're talking about around the green play?
I think so, but I think you just look into who is actually good from around the greens, because I think you can really differentiate. And I think that's when we get to my bets. I think that's even the case at the Renaissance Club, is that you can play a lot of bump and runs here. You can flight the ball lower on your approach shots if you want to, if the wind starts to pick up. You can do all those things here and get away with it. Next week, like I'm betting Victor Hovland this week. I want no part of Victor Hovland next week.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess we can have the Victor Hovland conversation soon. I know some smart people that are on Victor Hovland. I'm not necessarily one of them, but I think this week is a really, listen, it's not a litmus test for next week. It's two different courses, but there are some guys towards the top of the board where I'm not exactly sure where the state of their game is. Victor Hovland, probably one of those guys, but Ludwig is one of those guys. Xander is one of those guys. Even Rory to some degree is one of those guys. So I think this week, even though it won't necessarily translate to next week, I think this week is very, very interesting for some of those top guys in particular.
Well, even if you take a look at who has won at the Open Championship the past 3 years, what do we have? Xander last year, what did he come at this tournament? He was 15th or something like that?
At the Scottish?
At the Scottish, yeah.
That sounds right.
It sounds right. Well, here, listen, there's a tab here called
T15, T42, and first are Xander's last three.
Yeah, so Xander was... Yeah, he was T15 a year ago at this tournament. Harman was T21 at this tournament. Who the hell won the Open Championship the year before that? My mind is going on me, Sia. Help me out here.
Me too. It's the kids.
2022 Open. Was it? It wasn't Morikawa. That was 2021. Cam Smith. And I would say that St. Andrews is a little bit different, but let's see. Where did Cameron Smith finish in the year that he won the Open Championship? He may not even played in the Scottish. I have no idea, but I'm guessing that he probably did. Let's see. He was 10th at the Scottish Open. So good, but not great performance at the Scottish should be a green light indicator for next week at the Open Championship, if the past 3 years have told us anything, since this has become a combo event.
Yeah, I mean, something to look at. I mean, listen, like, even though it's not going to fully translate from a Renaissance Club to Royal Portrush, I mean, listen, good form is good form. Good players are good players. Cam Smith, if I'm going back to 2022 and I'm thinking of who might be good at Royal Portrush and who might be good at link style courses, I mean, obviously Cam Smith would come to mind. So that all makes sense.
Yeah, and he had what? He won the Century that year. He won the Players that year. Then he won the Open Championship. So let me read you some of these names, because I don't want to give away the entire show, but I'm not going to be the only one who makes this correlation. But I want to read some names to you, and you tell me what these guys may or may not have in common, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, Tony Finau, Lee Westwood, Brooks Koepka, Bobby Mack, Ricky Fowler, Tyrrell Hatton, Danny Willett, Patrick Reed, Justin Thomas, Alex Noren, Francesco Molinari.
They've all won on the other side of the pond?
They all dominate at PGA National.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So good news for the Seb Straka bet, I suppose. He's like Mr. Honda Classic now, or Cognizant Classic. But all those guys, except for maybe Hatton, who I don't... And even Hatton, I remember the year that I bet Hatton at PGA National. He lost like 8 strokes putting, but was first tee to green. Like, Fowler has a win there. He beat Brooks in a playoff. Lowry has lost us. He's been inside like the top 5 each of the past 8 years there. Fleetwood missed out on that playoff with Norin. I think that was the year that Justin Thomas ended up beating Luke List in that playoff. Both those guys were third. Thomas was on that list. Bobby Mack showed out in his one appearance ever there. Just a lot of guys who just play well at that specific tournament in Florida.
That's very interesting. Now I want to hear the names again because I want to see if any of them are on my outright list.
Well, this is for next week, though. This isn't for this week.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's Lowry, Fleetwood. This is just the leaderboard from last time. Lowry, Fleetwood, Finau, Brooks, Westwood, McIntyre, Hatton, Fowler, Reed, Tom Lewis was up there. There was 5 Americans inside the top 20 at a major championship. That's kind of unheard of.
That's crazy. Also, like Tom Lewis is a name from the past. That was good for like a few months.
Yeah, he had a second play. I remember I had him. He had a 2nd or 5th place finish at Southwind one year in the first leg of the playoffs, and I don't think he's ever been heard of again.
No.
Poor guy. Let's talk about this weather after doing a little diatribe on what to expect next week. I'm very fired up for the Open Championship, by the way. I might do a watch along in the morning, like when I wake up, if anyone is up at like 6 a.m.
That's super, super fun. I would love to invite myself to that outside of the fact that I might not actually be in town for part of next weekend. That sounds really fun. I think people will want to do that with you and will want to get up for that, especially since the Open Championship is on anyway.
Yeah, I'm not promising I'm going to be up at 2 a.m. doing it for the like when Darren Clark hits the first tee shot. But I think if I get up at, my kids get up at 5:30, which is 4:30 Eastern time, that I'll catch most of it. If anyone's around on Thursday, let me know if that's an idea that you guys like. Additionally, I got some tickets to the Wyndham Championship, and I can either do 2 winners with 4 days worth of tickets or 4 winners with 2 days worth of tickets. I think that's the way that it works. You guys let me know in the comment section or just tweet at me in the newsletter. Just respond to it. Let me know what you think is better. Like, is there enough people who would be interested in going all 4 days? If so, hit me up if you live in the area. We'll do some sort of draw between us if there's enough people who want to get in. But the Wyndham Championship offered me a whole bunch of free tickets, so giving them away. Why not, right?
That's awesome.
More giveaways.
That's awesome. Absolutely love it.
You should go. You should drive down to Greensboro. I was there last year.
What's that drive? So I'm in DC right now. From DC, I'm assuming it's like 6-7 hours. That's not a terrible drive.
I know that there's people, because even actually a friend that I made there last year, he drives in from Virginia. I believe it's Virginia. He drives from Virginia down to like work at the venue and be like a scorer and walk around with the groups.
The thing about Virginia is that I'm in Northern Virginia, which is like closer to Maryland. So
yeah, but here's the thing about U.S. states. They're all really small.
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Like I live in one of the smallest provinces in I live in Nova Scotia. It's a very small province. I mean, I want to say it's the exact same size as Texas, but it's like, it's not as big as Texas, but I would like to see what the land mass is. It's probably like half the size or something like that. And it's like the smallest province.
Yeah, that's fair. Most of this, I mean, some of the states are like actually huge, by the way, like Florida, like just to get out of Florida from South Florida, where I used to live, that's a 7-hour drive. But most states you're getting, to and from out of the state within a few hours or less.
What is it? Alaska, Texas, California, Florida?
Probably. Those are the 4. Yeah.
Is Alaska?
I mean, there's
the biggest.
The biggest state by landmass, I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the biggest state? It is Alaska. Boom, Pat. U.S. geography paying off.
There you go.
Wonder how that compares to like Alberta, which is gigantic. Ontario's massive. You can take like 3-hour flights within Ontario.
Wow. Okay. Is Ontario east or west? I have no idea.
Ontario is in the central part of Canada. It's
okay.
Like the bottom, like it borders New York, Michigan, Minnesota. Like it goes.
That's interesting. I've actually never been, Pat, I've never been to Canada.
A lot of people tell me this. A lot of people, even at the live show that we did in Toronto, a lot of people, I'd say that like 80% of the people there actually flew in from the States to come up and watch the show, which I'm very appreciative of.
It's awesome.
Probably not how I would have spent my weekend if I wasn't contractually obligated to be there as the person putting it on. But it was awesome to see people fly in, and all of them basically told me it's like the first time we've ever been to Canada. And they all remarked that it's very clean.
I bet it is.
I see. I don't find it clean because I'm from a place that's cleaner. So when I go to Toronto, it seems super dirty.
I mean, have you been to the United States?
I have. I used to live in New York. It's cleaner than New York, but
yes,
I love the grime of New York, though. That was really my vibe.
I am so anti the grime of New York, but you look at me, like obviously I am. I mean, I
Did we
wear it.
bully you about that top button? Is that why you don't like it?
Interesting, you should note that for the show that I host every morning, The Early Edge, I'm going to New York tomorrow. We're doing like a big event at Yankee Stadium. So I'm actually taking a train up in the morning after my 10 o'clock show. And then at 7 o'clock, a bunch of The Early Edge people, plus just a bunch of, viewers in the show. And for the record, it'll probably be Yankees colors, but I am going to be showing up in a top button shirt because I don't have any other things in my wardrobe. So we'll see how much flack I get for that from Yankees fans.
People have noted two things to me. One, that I've been wearing black a lot when I shoot at my home studio. Why, you ask? Because I lost one of my lights. It burnt out. So if I'm not wearing a black shirt, it just shadows everywhere until I get the light replaced. That's one. Two, I sent out the newsletter abruptly yesterday. And what I do every week is I copy and paste the title from the week before and change the tournament name. Forgot to change the tournament name, Sia. So it said it was the Scottish Open picks and write up and the live stuff, but it said John Deere Classic instead of Scottish Open. I've never had more response to a fucking email in my entire life.
Does that end up being good PR for you because it's a mess up?
I mean, it's nice to know that people are reading it,
Yeah.
and that the only thing that no one ever says, "Hey, this was helpful. Hey, nice write up." It's, you should fire whoever did that. It's like, well, I did it. It's my fault that it happened. I noticed it immediately after I sent it. It's like, well, nothing I can do now. But it's funny. The only time you hear from people, that's wrong. It's like, no. When I wrote up the Scottish Open, I really thought it was the John Deere. That's what happened.
What's funny about that, it would be funny if you did that next week too, on purpose. And then actually in the content, you actually just put the winners in, like as a prediction, but you put the winners in from the Scottish Open.
Oh, see, now your troll game is better than I thought.
Yeah, that's the play.
And I'll claim victory.
And then you can send it like the real one, like 5 minutes later, but just people will get mad because you're spamming their email, but I think it's worth it.
Well, it's funny because I was going to do that. I was going to change the title and send it out again. And I just thought to myself, I would be so pissed off if I got back-to-back emails from like a newsletter that's exactly the same, just with the title change. Like, I feel like if I saw, I'd be like, stupid. It's a typo. Obviously, that's wrong. Let me click on it to make sure it's like this week's stuff. And when you see the first line of it and it says Scottish Open, of course it is. But I'm not the one who would respond to something like that. But I guess that's what you get when people are reading.
I won't forget that, what was it, 6 to 7 weeks ago, maybe 8, 2 months ago, where Adam Scott withdrew from a tournament. And because I'm on your email list too, Pat, and I just didn't see your email in time, but you saved the day for so many people. So for those that would be worried about you spamming with back-to-back emails, you saved them with emails like that at the same time. So I think everybody should be loyal to a second email and being okay with it.
Yeah. Now, if I had not put Adam Scott, was it Adam Scott or Jason Day who withdrew?
Ooh, was it? It was Jason Day.
I think it was Jason
My bad.
Day.
It was Jason Day.
So Jason Day, WD, get him out of your lineups. Now, if I put like Scotty Scheffler, WD, then I could see having a problem with the title.
Yes.
Maybe I'll do that. You send me too many negative feedback comments, you're going to start getting that in your email. Don't unsubscribe. Subscribe. It's free. It's down in the comment section right now. And I am planning on having a big announcement either by the end of the week or at latest, probably next Monday. And you're going to want to hear it. It's going to be very valuable to everyone who is watching and listening right now. You're going to want to get in on it, and you might already be in on it, as it turns out. But I tried to do something for people who have been with me a very long time, Sia, and I don't feel like we're being treated properly. And I think I have rectified that problem.
Wow. I don't even know what this could possibly be or what it stems from in terms of people being, quote, wronged. But that sounds Monday. When's the announcement? Is it going to be live?
It depends on when I get that signature on a paper. But once I do and everything is official, then I can announce it. I hope it's by the end of the week, but it might not be till Monday.
Fantastic. I'm
good
dialed.
Good, potentially profitable news for football season as well. We did just kind of skim over the weather. I just refreshed it to see if anything changed in the 18 minutes since we've been talking. It is the Dirrilton Wind Tower that I'm looking at right now. The link to it is actually in the newsletter. It's not the John Deere Wind Tower. the Scottish Open win tower. It's also in the pin post that I have on X right now. If you guys could share that around for me, that'd be great. The cheat sheet will be pinned up there as well. If you can share that around for me, that stuff really does help, especially right around major championships. This being the last one, that would be huge for me. So please go do that. Man, you know what? You do that, you get in the draw for the free driver too. How about that? Build up as many ballots as possible. But looking at Thursday, yeah, Gus up to 25, 21 miles per hour until we get to right around midday. So almost at the back end of the AM wave getting off the course. Then it gets, it dropped down to 16, 14, 13 as the PMs finish up their round. So as of right now, pretty good advantage for the PM wave. And then the rest of the week, Gus are maxed out at 8 miles per hour.
Okay, so I like that for my speculative first round leaders, but certainly PM AM. I mean, this is one of those things where I don't know if this is why we're talking about it right now, but I don't know that I would go all in on a PM AM stack with like all of my lineups, but it does feel like there might be a slight advantage. Now, how many strokes that is, whether it's a quarter or a half a stroke or more, is a different question. But I if I'm making 10 lineups just based on that, I'm willing to dedicate 3 or 4 to the PM AM stack.
Yeah, I'd probably go all 5 and then just try to make a mix of whatever comes through of my favorite plays. If 59 degrees, is that hot or cold?
So are we talking Celsius?
No. Celsius, I know that's very hot.
That's extremely hot.
We're approaching boiling, physical boiling in Celsius.
59 degrees is cold.
Okay, so it's 59 degrees with 25 mile per hour gusts on Thursday morning.
And then what does it warm up to by like noon or whatever, noon their time?
70.
That's solid. Oh, wow. So that's even an even bigger bit. Talking about ball flight too. I mean, there seems like there's plenty of advantage to that PM. I didn't realize it was starting out that cold.
Yeah, and then the next day in the morning, it's like 65 degrees. So, that's 6 more degrees in Fahrenheit. What's it, like 2 degrees in Celsius? I mean, 65 sounds better than 59.
I feel like it's actually like a noticeable difference, 59 to 65.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, in the mornings, it's not too, it's the same as around here. It's like not super hot at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. But once you get to 9 a.m., it heats up pretty quickly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's definitely enough of an advantage to at least take a look at and put some lineups in that are PMAM.
Final bets for the week. I'm actually still torn. I'm probably going to leave this. This won't be the final version of the bets, only because I don't know what to do in the outright betting card. I am somewhat scared of Scheffler, so there's that to consider. I have 4 so far on the card, and we got Victor Hovland, who I mentioned before, 33 to 1. If you go to coolbet.com right now, I actually have 2 bonuses up there. You can hit the description, use the code, get a deposit bonus. It's for Canadians who live outside of Ontario. If you don't live there, well, you can't use Coolbet unless you live in like Norway or Estonia or something like that. If you live in Scandinavia, Costa Rica, Chile, or Canada outside of Ontario, you can play on Coolbet. But I have them boosted up to 35 up there if you want that. Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, 90 to 1 with 8 places. Christoph Reiten, 200 to 1 with 8 places. And I did add Max Grazerman at just 80 to 1 straight up to win this tournament. Those are the 4 bets that I have in right now for the Scottish. Who have you bet outright?
So I did a thing I haven't really done, because sometimes I have Max Grazerman as well. I have 5 total that I'll get to in a second, but I'm actually playing without the big 3 plus Fleetwood market. And I'm also betting the regular number. So instead of like adding money to my outright ticket, I'm just splitting the ticket between the outright number, for example, on Sam Burns, which I'm not looking at the numbers right now, but I think it's I think he's 40 to 1 now. And then without the 4 market, he's 30. So I'm betting Sam Burns, splitting that ticket. I'm doing the same with Matt Fitzpatrick, Adam Scott, Ryan Fox, and then Max Grazerman as my long shot.
Okay. I like that. I mean, there's a lot of names that you mentioned. My first inclination this week was Fleetwood Fitzpatrick. And then I saw the numbers. And then I saw that everyone was on Fitzpatrick, Custom included. And I was like, yeah.
Oh, man.
I'll take a pass on that. I did make the boost that I have at Coolbet right now. It's Fitzpatrick top 20, Fleetwood top 20, and Niergaard Peterson to make the cut. And it pays plus 760. If people want to check that out, that's boosted up from plus 660. So you get an extra 90 cents for every dollar that you end up betting. But Sam Burns was really the one that stuck out to me. But I don't know if I really want to hit up that tier. Like, with Scotty and Rory being there. And I do like Bobby Mack as well. And I saw
Yeah.
Bobby Mack's numbers next week are like 25-1 that I couldn't in good conscience, if I thought about betting him at the Open Championship, why not take him at a tournament where he's been second, first for 15 more points?
Totally agree. I mean, I'm not going to be on Bobby Mack. I think the number is just a little too short. I'm not going to be on him in DFS either, just because he's going to be so popular. I mean, listen, Bobby Mack's obviously comfortable here, but when I look at that range, for me, it's Sam Burns. I just think Sam Burns is playing so well, and he's kind of crumbled a little bit. Some of that's extenuating circumstances over the last few tournaments, but this does feel like a really good course fit for him as well. So, I mean, Sam Burns is when I do a first look thing for like a 10-minute thing for the early wedge on Sunday morning, and Sam Burns was like the very first name I thought of. It was like, whenever the odds come out, I'm probably betting Sam Burns. Matt Fitzpatrick was certainly one of those names as well. And Max Grazerman, who I like to think is kind of discount Sam Burns, seems like he's got pretty good upside at a number like 80-1.
It all depends on if he can get his irons back. He's top 25 in this field in distance, par 4 scoring, putting from 5 to 10 feet, and eagles. Like, he fits it perfectly. Just his irons haven't been that good, which I feel like they need to be at this course.
Well, yes. I mean, I don't know. I'm not looking at I mean, long irons certainly, but I'm not looking at approach maybe more than I am. I'm looking at a little lesser than I am maybe some other tournaments. But with that said, the thing about Max Grazerman is he's never been that consistent with his irons. He was always, even when he broke out, when he was kind of a name and he was flirting at the top of leaderboards, he was always a driver putter guy. It was just recently, earlier this year, where he came around with the approach play, and it's like, oh my gosh, Max Grazerman sort of found this too. And now that's come and gone to some degree. But the fact that he's shown some good iron play this year, and the fact that we know from a course fit standpoint he might be there, I think he's a guy, like, whether you're doing finishing positions or whether you're doing the outright market or DFS, he feels like a guy that could contend here.
Yeah. Do you have any love for Xander? Because he keeps falling down the board. And I'm going to run one name by you that's just absolutely disgusting. Although it shouldn't be. And I'm seeing him at 37-1 now because no one's betting him this week. Although I think he shot a 61 in the first round 2 years ago. Here's Justin Thomas.
Yeah, I figured you were talking about Justin Thomas. Well, okay, so first of all, I'm not betting Xander, but I don't mind it, like, the fact that he's 18-1. I think that's I'm actually just looking at one site right now, but the fact that he's in that area.
What if I could give you 24-1 on Xander?
I mean, that's just, I would have to take that. I mean, listen, I've already kind of built my card, but if we were starting over and I saw Xander at 24-1, I'd probably have to modify it and maybe include Xander. I think that number is kind of ridiculous on Xander. The problem with Xander's, part of his game in each tournament just kind of like falls by the wayside, but we know he can put it all together. That's a ridiculous number.
It feels like it. So with the 30% boost, that gets me up to what, 31-1, something like that. Or I can take the Justin Thomas boost. And I don't know why I want to bet Justin Thomas so often. The one time he wins, I don't bet him because I'm an idiot. But if I can get him up to like close to 50-1, feels like a good number.
Justin Thomas is a really interesting one for me. Like on the DFS show I do on Monday, I mentioned him. I said, if he's going to be, and I was talking DFS, but I said, if he's going to be low ownership, I feel like I got to take him, and he is pretty low ownership. I think at a number like you're talking about, Justin Thomas makes sense. You can be wayward with the driver here, which we know that's kind of Justin Thomas's issue. And he can you talk about approach and maybe filling it up with the short game. I mean, Justin Thomas can do all those things. So I think when we're talking about sleeping on a guy that has plenty of win equity that is at the top, I think Justin Thomas is clearly being slept on.
Yeah, I'm looking at a simulator right now of odds to win the tournament. Do you know what Scotty's probability is per the simulator that I'm using to win this tournament?
5%.
17%.
What? Wow.
Yeah. Pretty big.
That's crazy. Okay. I mean, it's a tough click for me. I'm not betting him in any capacity. I'm not playing him in DFS, mostly because of his price. It's not like I don't like Scotty. 17% is massive. Like, you don't see that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's.
Oh, you know what? It's been updated. It's now 16%. Does that make you feel better?
No, it doesn't.
That's also telling you that 5-1 still wasn't proper for him, although he might end up winning it. So if we just go by pure win percentage in this field, the top 5 are Scotty at 16%, Rory at 5%, Morikawa at 4% than Thomas at 4.5%. So if I can get, or at 3.5%, sorry. So if I can get Justin Thomas with a 3.5% win equity and get him almost boosted up to 50-1, feel like I don't make plus EV bets often. That feels like a plus EV bet.
Well, 100% is. Are you surprised that given Rory's history here versus Scotty's history here, which again, Scotty doesn't have bad history here. It's just not like Scotty-esque history. Are you surprised that your simulator has 17 versus 5 for Rory? Like you would think that would be a decent amount closer.
I would have thought too, but I think it's taking less of history into consideration, and with the way that it's built. I mean, you can pick your poison on how you want to build one of these simulators and how you want to weight it, but recent form is going to be just way more than anything else. Like it will have course history, it will have long-term form, but if you've just been really bad for 2 months, it's going to bump you down. I think it's a testament to Rory that he's been so bad and he's still 5%.
I mean, that's a fair point. I'm not even saying Roy should be higher than 5%. I'm just surprised that there's that big of a gap between at the Scottish Open in particular. There's that big of a gap between Scotty and Rory here.
Of note, number 6 and 7 in the win simulator are guys that you have bet on this week.
Ooh,
okay. Sam Burns and Max Grazerman.
Oh, Max Grazerman. Wow. Okay. I thought you were going to say Matt Fitzpatrick or maybe even Ryan Fox, no, Ryan Fox wouldn't be that high. But anyway, wow, that's interesting.
I kind of hope Fox sucks this week so I can bet him next week.
Interesting.
I just want a better number. I kind of want Adam Scott next week too, so I hope he sucks this week.
Yeah, well, I feel like Adam Scott can go either way. I mean, he can really show up, or he can just really lay an egg. So I'm happy to bet him this week, though. I really do like the form he's coming in with, and his links form and his Scottish Open form is pretty good too.
Yeah, he was second here to Bobby Mack a year ago.
Yep.
Even though the 4th of July is in the rear view mirror, there's still a massive opportunity to get some Omaha steaks, get outside, have a cookout, and I'm going to make that easy for you, because if you go to omahasteaks.com right now, you can get 50% off site-wide, plus my listeners are going to get an extra $45 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. There's no better thing to do in the summer. You have the family over, you have the friends over, you're having some drinks, the kids are playing in the yard, you're spraying a hose at them like that creepy guy in Billy Madison, and you have luscious steaks on the grill. And it doesn't even need to be steaks. It could be anything that you want, because Omaha Steaks has it done for you. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and delectable desserts. So get fired up this year, this summer, with Omaha Steaks, and visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and get an extra $45 off by using promo code MAYO at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $45 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. See site for details. Feeling stuck in your daily wellness routine? When you're not alone. Our friends at Cornbread Hemp, they heard you. Their organic CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress and poor sleep or just needing a moment to unwind. Personally, I started taking them before a round of golf because I've been dealing with this tennis elbow issue. It's starting to go away, but it tightens up on me throughout the course of the round. So just when I pop a Cornbread Hemp CBD gummy, all of a sudden loosen right up, playing a lot better. Highly recommended if your muscles seize up or get tight during a round of golf. CBD might be just what you need to level up your daily routine. Cornbread Hemp uses only the best parts of hemp plant, the flower, for purest and the most potent CBD. No fillers, no junk, just full spectrum goodness. Right now, they're offering 30% off your first order. So go to cornbreadhemp.com/PatMayo and use code PatMayo at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/PatMayo with code PatMayo to get 30% off your first order. Let's talk one and done. I'm not doing well anymore. Although last week who the hell did I have? I had someone who was all right. I should probably click on it to figure out who that guy was. The guy that I had last week was Lucas Glover on the show team, who ended up coming in 5th. So he earned almost 300 grand, which bumped me up like 20 spots. So I'm back up to 79th place, currently winning $1,400, but I'm out of the money in the other ones right now. Victor's basically the only big gun that I have left to use, and I don't want to use him next week. So I have Robert McIntyre, who I assume is going to be very popular.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick I have left, who's going to be very popular. And I'm not playing to move up to 50th here. I'm playing to move back up to as high as I can get. So I feel like I need to fade those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you're in like that's 79th out of how many?
4,500.
So I mean, you're still in a really good spot to if you wanted to kind of coast with a higher name or whatever, a more popular name, and really kind of put the pedal down with some contrarian stuff, which you might have to do because of how many players you have left. But later on, we still have enough tournaments where you can do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm in a similar position in my one and done where I'm pretty high up, but I think I'm going to take Matt Fitzpatrick and I'm going to take I wanted to take Sam Burns and I have Sam Burns to take. But honestly, I'm so high on Sam Burns. I don't know where exactly I'm going to use him. I don't have that many bullets left because I have used most of the big guns. So I'm actually going to wait on Sam Burns and hope I can get him when nobody else is taking him at a bigger tournament. But I'm going with Matt Fitzpatrick. But again, to your point, if you're playing from behind, Fitzpatrick and McIntyre are not the plays at all.
No, they're going to be like, if I was in 4th place right now, I would be taking Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Totally fair. If you're trying to consider other names, like I don't know, we just talked about Adam Scott. I don't know what you feel about him, or even Sam Burns, or like a Ryan Fox. But those guys aren't going to be super popular.
No, I think you can pick your poison with who you like, and of that group, I mean, you could use Grazerman if you really wanted to. It's just I'm betting Hovland to win. And what's Hovland's ownership percentage right now? How much has he been used? Most people have been used. So if you have like a Fleetwood left, if you're not going to use him at the Open, use him now. If there's basically anyone you're not going to use at the Open or the first leg of the FedEx Cup at the St. Jude, which is probably where you'll end up using Sam Burns, where he's won before, or even Daniel Berger if you haven't used him yet. He's a guy who I think he's won there twice before. I think he's won 2 St. Jude's. Either way, that's back when it was a non-playoff event, so it's completely different. But obviously good course history there. That if you have one of these guys and you're not going to use them, this is a pretty decent spot. The issue with this tournament is it's just not that valuable in terms of winning it. I mean, you win 1.7 million if you win, but next week if you win, it's like 4.5 million.
That's right. Yeah, next week is just absolutely massive for one and done, obviously, without any signature fields left and only a handful of big purses left. But yeah, I agree. It's not going to be heavy impact, but once 1.7 million, I mean, it's still worth taking a pretty big swing at. I'm not talking like a top tier guy, but I mean, you absolutely could pass a lot of people if you take the right guy and they're not named Robert McIntyre or Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, if I move up, if I get 1.7 million, I move up to like 20th place. If other people don't have Victor ahead of me and like Adam Scott doesn't come in 2nd place.
I like it. And to your point, like Victor's not going to be super popular from a one and done standpoint, right? You just said that.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think
I can see Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick, Sam Burns. I would guess that's the range of guys that people are going for. I only say that because that's who people have left to play. And Robert McIntyre.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Maybe you know what? Maybe not Burns. This actually might be a good week to use Burns if you like him. He's only 43% available to the field. So max ownership would be 43%. Bobby Mack has 82% left. So that's just where people's eyes are going to gravitate.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to play Burns. And that's, part of the reason I kind of wanted to play him this week, but I'm going to save him for later.
You ready to watch this video?
Ooh, yes.
All right. So I think he's a former NHL enforcer or something like that. But this video has just been made. Someone sent, I think I saw it on Reddit last night. And I have a friend that if they send you anything, that it's like penetrated into everyone having seen it. He's the last person to see anything. So maybe everyone has seen this video already. But this happened at a golf course yesterday, 2 days ago. And apparently it didn't happen in Canada. Although when you hear this guy talk, he has to be Canadian. So check it out. I want to see your reaction.
Enough. No, you're not a tough guy. Hurry up. I'll fucking promise you that. Hurry up. He's pretty tough. Not that fucking tough. No, he's not. Not that fucking tough.
He's not tough.
No, he's pretty tough.
He's not tough.
Fucking tough.
You're not tough.
Hey,
You're not tough.
Let's get going. Get going. Or you can play behind us all, and you can take all the fucking time you want.
It's literally
This is
golf.
fucking
You're not
embarrassing.
tough.
This is golf.
This is not
Yeah,
golf.
it's not.
You can stand there
golf,
15
man.
fucking minutes.
You
That's
can't
not
even.
golf.
You guys can't even stand
Stand
and
up.
tee your ball up, man.
No, he's teeing up, man. That's fine.
He's not teeing it up. He's standing
Do
there
we
like
need
a
to get
fucking moron.
the police out here?
No, we don't need police for nothing.
Okay, then let's get going here.
Let's go. Pick your shit up and get going. This is not fine.
Yeah, leave him fine. Dude,
We're what? I'm gonna throw him in this fucking lake. Is what's gonna happen. No, fuck you both. This is fucking bullshit.
How long have you been waiting for?
They've been sitting there for fucking 23 minutes.
Cry about it. Fucking cry about it.
I'm going to.
Fucking cry
I'm
about
gonna
it.
fucking
You
cry about
fucking
it.
pussy.
I'm a pussy.
Like,
Hey.
fucking cry about
Hey,
it.
Trev, let's-
buddy, you're gonna get fucking shit kicked.
I don't give a fuck.
Like badly.
Good. Let's
Fucking
fucking
badly.
go, man.
Buddy, you don't wanna go me.
Do you want to stop?
You
No,
wanna go.
I'm not filming this. I'm not stopping.
Please help out.
No.
I don't know what
You guys need to get off the golf course.
Yeah,
Let's
we will,
fucking
man.
go.
No,
I don't know
now.
what you're
Like,
I don't know
pack
what
up,
you're
go now.
doing. Don't know what
Cart
you're
and
doing.
go.
I don't know what you're
Fuck.
doing. You're not scaring anybody. You're just making
I
yourself.
don't fucking care.
Hey, man. Come on, man.
Hey! Hey! Off to a good start, buddy. I fucking told you!
Man, leave him alone.
You want another? You want one
fucking
too?
came at
Leave him
me!
alone, man.
I got it all on record.
It's around the golf.
I got it all on record.
Around the golf.
Bang!
Hey,
You wanna fucking go, guy?
leave him alone. Hey, leave him alone, man.
I wouldn't keep going back, you fucking moron.
Hey,
Bang!
come on, man.
Bang!
No, I'm not trying to get in there. Like, just like, fuck me.
Enough! Are you still cheering on you? Enough! Get out!
Hey.
Enough! Hey,
Leave him.
get him the fuck out!
So when anyone says like they want to throw down with you and the guy's response is you don't want to do that, don't go at that guy.
I love how he narrated his punches with bang every time. That was
Have you ever
amazing.
heard anyone sound more Canadian than that guy?
No, it was pretty Canadian.
Like, buddy, you need to slow down.
Yeah. It sounded like Jeff, did it not?
I mean, Jeff would be someone. If I was going to get into an altercation on the golf course, I'd want to be lined up against Jeff. He's got his knee brace on. He's not moving super quick. I don't think he's twice my size and will just take me by the scruff of my shirt and toss me 10 feet.
That was pretty incredible. That was pretty incredible.
Do you golf much? Like, have you ever been on an on-course altercation?
No, I don't golf. So back in my attorney days, I golfed a decent amount with like partners in the firm and like that kind of like stereotypical thing. We'd go on firm retreats in Marco Island, Florida, and we'd go to a nice golf course. I honestly these days, especially with family obligations and show obligations, I really don't golf that much. But no, I've never been involved or seen a golf course altercation. I mean, I've definitely seen like I've been around when like slow play is happening and like guys are getting held up and you're waving to people and trying to get people to hurry up, but like nothing that rises to anything real.
I haven't seen it either, but I think a lot of that is I play very early in the morning and people aren't drunk really early in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You get out at like 4 o'clock on a Saturday, it might be a little bit more riled up on the golf course.
Yes. Are you implying that gentleman was intoxicated?
I would guess when the short guy who got the shit beat out of him went at the really giant guy, I'm guessing he had real liquid confidence.
He got tossed like a rag doll.
Yeah.
I know some people are listening to the podcast, but obviously you got to see that video. You're like, yeah, that's the strength of like you could tell he was big and he was like lifts and all that stuff, but he flung that guy like it was no problem.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the guy played in the NHL.
Oh, you said that. Oh, that'll do it.
Golf fight,
I mean,
NHL. Let's see. Yeah, hockey fight. He's an ex-NHLer.
I would literally never mess with somebody who played hockey. It doesn't have to be the NHL. Hockey or wrestling, I'm not messing with either.
What they like to believe, they think that it's Nick Tarnasky is the hockey player in question because it looks like him. It seemed like he didn't really want. It seemed like he wanted to do it, but he knew it was in his best interest not to hit the guy until the guy came at him.
That's right. He was actually extremely patient with all the antics that were happening, and then obviously as soon as you come at somebody, it's game on.
The best part of that video is that there's like another 2 minutes of it.
Is there really?
Oh yeah.
Of like fighting or more like just calming people down and separating?
It's like the other guy. There's no more punches thrown, I don't think. But like the guy keeps like trying to come back. His friend steps in between, and the guy, the mediator, the other guy's friend, the guy like shoves him. Like, it looks like it's just like a gentle shove and sends the guy flying. So yeah, I don't really think it's worth it to get into it on the golf course. I would say that if you're gonna get into it on a golf course, doing it in Canada or Britain is probably better. I'm not going to lie to you, Sia. I'd be really worried someone would pull a gun on me in America.
That is a completely valid worry.
You played golf in Florida. Do people have guns on them?
Yeah, I mean the gun stuff in Florida is really interesting. Like, yeah, you can have like open carry and stuff, so you like see it, but especially in Florida, like South Florida, but pretty much all of Florida. I mean, there's a lot of concealed carry stuff going on. So yeah, a lot of people, there's only so much you'll be able to see in plain sight. But yeah, there's pretty big gun culture. I mean, in this entire country, in the United States, I'm not really a part of it personally, but yeah, it's and yeah, you never know. I mean, where you see it here a lot is the road rage stuff, where people get into these road rage things, and you see it on like talking about like watching it on TikTok or Instagram or whatever the case may be. Like, you see a lot of videos of people like escalating it immediately to firing guns at the car. And so that's where, like, if you're in road rage in the United States, like, you might want to calm down a little bit, because there's a lot of guns.
Yeah. That would have me being like, yeah, sorry, man. It's fine.
Take the lane. It's fine. No big deal.
Yeah, it's not always settled with. I mean, even when I was in college here, like I'm from a university town that I ended up going to college. And I think there's 6 colleges here, and a lot of fights downtown at the bars. But they were just fights. They would just be fist fights, and that would be it.
That's
stabbed. No one's getting shot. If you lost the fight, you were just a loser, and you had to go home.
That's you'd hope you would think that would be how it is everywhere, but
now it's I believe that is hockey culture, though.
What, just like the fighting itself? The fighting
itself, but just like a one-on-one fist fight, and then when it's over, it's over.
Yeah,
you just walk away.
That's definitely hockey culture, but that used to be the fight culture in general. Like, you get in a fight and somebody wins, somebody's down, and then they just kind of walk away from it, and that's that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that there was no videos of me getting the shit kicked out of me outside of a bar, things like that. That's no fun. Anyway, let's get back to golf and non-fighting. That video has been everywhere. I just really wanted to see it. Underdog picks for the week. Bringing this up right now, I mentioned this on the research show. Very low accuracy, very high greens and regulation for this course. So I think that's somewhere where we can try to exploit here. If we look at it, maybe we try to take... If it's going to be a bit windier, maybe we try to take some AM guys, low accuracy, PM guys, high greens and regulation for round 1. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, you're not really in trouble here off the tee unless you find some really bad fescue areas or a fairway bunker. You can bail yourself out on approach, whether you're on the fairway or not.
The problem is that they have all of the tee times listed in my time, which does me absolutely no good for trying to figure out whether or not it's AM, PM. So Ludwig's out in the morning. Sungjae is out. When is Sungjae out? Sungjae is a good one to target for not hitting greens in regulation if you were ever to look for someone. Sungjae is out in the mornings. Okay. Sungjae under greens in regulation, 11.5. Let's go lower on Sungjae in that regard.
Okay, I like it.
So we'll go lower on him. Who else is out? Scotty's out early. Scotty accuracy, usually pretty high, maybe in the wind, not so much.
I mean, I'm never going to doubt Scotty, but I assume the line is reflecting that it's, he's going to hit a lot of fairways. So
yeah, he's at 8.5 and it's already been juiced to the lower. So that's not anything that I really want to be a part of. How about Morikawa? Is Morikawa afternoon? No, he's in the morning as well. What are his fairways? His fairways hit are 8.5. And there are 5 par 3s at this course. So it's even lower than normal. So it would have to be 9 out of 13 to be a winner. I get that he's super accurate, but in that win, maybe not. Let's bump him down, and we get a booster on that, so lower than 8.5 fairways for Morikawa. Of note, code Mayo at Underdog right now will give you a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And as a part of my announcement that's coming, I might have some easy ways for you to play some WNBA pick'ems as well and win on those. I've been winning, testing it out, so I might be able to share that with you very quickly in all of the sports. But it will also get you a free the pick'em game with code Mayo. So we'll go Sungjae under 11.5 greens in regulation, Colin Morikawa under 8.5 fairways hit. And now let's try to find some guys in the afternoon. Is Vic in the afternoon or not?
Checking for you right now. He is in the afternoon. Yeah.
So what are his greens in regulation? Let's go higher. I mean, he's been the best approach player in the field over the past 2 months. Hopefully he can hit 13 greens in regulation or more. We're already up to 7. I feel like we should go all in on this if this is an angle that we're going to take.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do these 3. It pays 7.5 to 1. It's pretty good just off the onset. But is there anyone else? I mean, targeting Scheffler like not good news stats is like the most uncomfortable thing you can do.
It is. But you're getting the benefit of a decent line because he's Scotty Scheffler. I mean, that's how I would look at it.
Where is Justin Thomas? I like Justin Thomas this week, but he is playing in the morning. What are his fairways at? His fairways hit 6.5. I could see him being lower than that.
Yeah.
Like he's not accurate as it is. It's going to be windy, and they're hard to hit fairways.
I could see it.
So let's do this. We can even do it as a flex play potentially, where if you win 4 of 4, you get 8 to 1. If you win 3 of 4, you get 2 to 1. Or we can go for the glory here, 13.5 to 1. What do you think we should do? Should we try to tread water?
I think we should tread water.
All right, we'll go $200 pays $1,600 as a flex play. So if 4 of 4 win, we win $1,600. If 3 of 4 win, we win $400. We win 200 or we win 1,400 because obviously our 200 is included in that. How do you feel about it? Is there anyone you'd like to add instead of taking these like big long shots?
The thing about Justin Thomas is I was thinking about his greens in regulation because I do think higher could be a play there. But I was also thinking Wyndham Clark in terms of missed fairways. But then again, he's had a pretty good history here. But the last time, I think last year he was T10, it really was all short game. He actually lost strokes ball striking. So I think he would be an interesting his range of outcomes are crazy, but I think he'd be an interesting lower fairways hit, although 6.5's pretty low, obviously.
And he is in the morning as well.
Right.
Do we throw him on there too? And now we're up to, that didn't really do anything for us. We're playing too many lowers. Putting the higher in there really kind of boosted it up for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd probably have to throw in another higher for greens and regulation, probably for, I want to be targeting an afternoon guy if that's the way to do it. But I'm pretty good with these 4. Maybe Tommy Fleetwood. I can see Tommy being first round leader, by the way.
Yeah. I certainly don't think he's going to win the tournament. So first round leader makes sense.
Let's see. Greens and regulation. He's already juiced to the higher anyway. So let's not go there. Who else is in the afternoon we can throw?
I don't know how risky you want to get here, but like a guy like Ryan Fox is in the afternoon. Matt Fitzpatrick is in the afternoon. You mentioned Fleetwood. Xander's in the afternoon. I don't know that I trust Rory's in the afternoon.
Yeah. Do you trust Xander or Rory more? You're gonna say that the answer is Xander, and I'm not disinclined to disagree with you on that, but the answer has to be Rory.
Yeah, I think it's Rory, but to be honest with you, I don't trust either of them right now.
Let's see. Who else can we go to here? Wyndham Clark, fairways lower, Ludwig's in the morning, Fitzpatrick. What are Fitzpatrick's green and regulation? He's at 12.5 as well. You think your boy can do it for us? That didn't even really move the needle for us all that much, honestly. It gets us up to 12 to 1 as the flex play, 20, almost 25 to 1 for the overall. I'd say we just stick with these 4. Thomas lower, Vic higher, Morikawa lower, and Sungjae lower.
I like it. Let's get the 4 for 4.
It's going to tell me I'm not in like the right geolocation or something like that. Oh, no, there we go.
Let's go.
All right. I'll put this one in the newsletter that will come out on Wednesday evening as well if you want to tail it or if you just want to fade it. And if you use code Mayo at Underdog and you're brand new, you can throw an extra pick onto this to get it boosted up to probably 24-1 with a free pick. And then you're just riding these if you just do the power play instead of the flex play for the over-under pick'ems on Underdog. When we return, we will be talking about the DraftKings lineups, the ownership, and maybe we'll make some PM AM stacks as well. Stay tuned. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Part of my wellness routine this year, at least in the summer, has been focus more on family and focus more on Pat Mayo. So, been doing fewer shows, upping the exercise, eating better, and a lot of people don't have the privilege and luxury that I do to be able to take time off like that, especially during the summer when stuff can start to stress you out. If you have kids, there is no summer for you. It's just daily, nonstop grinding every single day. Couple that with workplace stress, and it's a bit difficult. Workplace stress right now is one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing a higher than normal amount of stress. So maybe BetterHelp is exactly what you need to do. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you feel anything going on with you, you need to go to betterhelp.com/PatMayo right now. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. My listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PatMayo. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PatMayo. If you're looking to up your game this summer, Tour Striker Online Golf Academy gives you the real coaching you've been missing. Monthly personal swing analysis. You send in your swing, boom, you'll get your feedback from a coach every single month. Premium weekly video tips, an expanded and enhanced library of tips reserved only for Academy members. I've been digging into these ones since I got my Tour Striker Online Golf Academy account, and my short game really starting to improve. That's where I needed to go immediately, and boom, there were tons of tips for me to help myself get up and down for par instead of just making bogey everywhere. Many golfers make getting better way harder than it needs to be. They try to Frankenstein a swing by watching some YouTube videos and an Instagram reel, and all of those tips don't work in conjunction with each other, which you're going to get at the Tour Striker Online Golf Academy. And the worst part is, if you do it by Frankensteining it together, you pick up bad habits that are really hard to unlearn. I know, I went through this for years. It's frustrating, it's slow, and it leaves you stuck way longer than you need to be. So what you need to do is head to tourstriker.com/TSGA and use the code MAYO to get your first month of Tour Striker Golf Academy online free, plus instant access to 2 bonus courses, the recipe for better golf and bombs, and how to consistently smash the driver, a $194 value. That's tourstriker.com/TSGA, then use the code MAYO. DraftKings picks and ownership for the Scottish Open. Once again, give me your first round leader down in the description to get into the draw for that free PXG driver. Sia, who do you think will be the most owned player at the Scottish Open? And of note, lock is at 2 a.m. Eastern time on Thursday morning. So get them lineups in early.
So I think it's, I mean, I thought it was going to be Bobby McIntyre, but
I think it's Fitz.
Yeah, it could be Fitz. I mean, where do you see, I mean, those are 2 very popular players. Where do you see Scotty's ownership at right now? Because I see that as pretty high as well.
Yeah, I think Scotty will come in second or third. I think you also have like Fleetwood, McIntyre, Fitzpatrick, and then Scotty probably.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, definitely like Fitzpatrick and Bobby McIntyre are going to be very popular. And it might be, listen, I like Fitzpatrick as an outright, but it might be reason enough for me to just not play either of them.
I don't know how deep I'm going to go into it. I might save a lot of bullets for Portrush next week. I feel weirdly more prepared for that. I feel like I have a better feel for that tournament than this one. Although there's guys at the bottom I really like that. If you want to play a Scotty Rory lineup, I wouldn't hate it. It would be tough to do. Do you think we can make one that works?
Well, we can try. The thing is, the guys at the bottom, I don't think the 6K range is very good. And now I understand I'm talking about some World Tour players that I may not be as familiar
Wait,
with.
you're not all in on Oki Stridham?
No, I don't think so.
His name's Oki.
It's a cool name. I mean, if you did Scheffler Rory, it leaves you with 63.75. I mean, it's basically impossible to get a 6 for 6 at that point.
Well, I mean, let's see if we can find something. How's Otagi playing? That's a real guy. Canadian
guy.
Aaron Cockrell's down here. Oh, Otagi, he's been great. 6 cuts missed in a row. Hey, but after before that, he was T11 at the Haiyan Classic. That's great news.
I will say this: if you do Rory Xander, it does leave you 71.25, and that's a little bit more reasonable when it comes to being able to form the rest of your lineup.
Yes, I would tend to agree. Okay, let's just say we want to use Scotty. What we can do here. I would guess that the most common guy with Scotty is either
Bobby.
It's probably Fitz, honestly, because it gets you down to 7,000 per player.
Okay.
Where if you use Robert McIntyre, I guess you're right around just below 7,000. So yeah, let's go Scheffler McIntyre. And if you did Scheffler Fleetwood, what are you at? I mean, you could probably make that work too. So who would be the guys down in this range that you think that people are going to? I know that, Daniel Hillier. He's right there. We can just use him.
I think it's more the 6,800 range and above where people are going to spend a lot of their time. And I'm scrolling down to ownership right now, but there were certainly guys on Monday that I had my eye on, and I'm just trying to see who's popular. Oh, interesting. And I might be pronouncing this game. Rattan guy, Christopher, he looks like he's getting some ownership. Kuvra, who I've heard is getting some ownership. He is at 6,900. I kind of assumed that guys like, Matty Schmidt at 6,900 is interesting, but Ferguson at 6,900, I think is going to get some ownership. I think this guy, by the way, I love Jacob Bridgman. I think he could have a good tournament. He's 6,900. Francesco Laporta, obviously Francesco Laporta, but at 6,800, this guy's been really good on the World Tour. I don't think he's getting a ton of ownership. That's a guy I'm very much willing to play.
Oh, the Laporta potty? This guy?
Francesco. Yeah.
I remember when Guido outdueled him. I think it was him at the French Open that one year. Rosner's down here. Brendan Stone is down here. Is Norris in this field? I feel like Norris would be all right here.
Yeah.
Sean Norris. Here's a player I can get behind. So he leads the DP World Tour in scoring average. He hasn't been great recently, but it's the one miscut at the Italian Open, which is one of the harder courses. But T26, T15, T2, T9, T6, and then he won the Alfred Dunhill Classic. Not to be confused with the Alfred Dunhill Links Classic. That's the one in South Africa. So we're going to chuck him in. Now we're starting to get a little bit more money.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go Scheffler Fleetwood. I would probably go Scheffler Victor. That would be the start that I'd want to do. And Victor's 9,300. So we save a bit more money there. And we can find another one or two. You know who popped up really high in the win probability that I was looking at earlier? Was actually the next guy on the list.
Who is it? No, you mean number 8 on the list?
Yeah, number 8 on the list was Denny McCarthy.
Oh, that's interesting.
So for whatever reason, this course suits him, apparently. I don't know why, but it does. You like Bridgman? We'll throw Bridgman in. I like Bridgman as well.
Bridgman is your classic, a little loose off the tee, great long iron play, and can get absolutely hot with the putter. I think, granted, range of outcomes are wide, but I think Bridgman could have a good tournament.
Christoph Reiten is up there. How much is 70? So this is a Miss Rasmus Niergaard Peterson 76. I do want to work him in at some point. That leaves us with 6,700 if we go with this sort of build that I have going on right now. It is really hard to build with Scotty.
It's very hard to, exactly. Which is why I'm very curious to see what his ownership settles at, because I understand people want to play Scotty for obvious reasons, but this is one of the few tournaments where it's not like we have a 5K range. It's just really hard to get. And again, when you're talking about the 8K range, where there's a lot of popular guys. McIntyre is kind of on the fringe of the 8K range, but you got Fitz. I think Adam Scott's good. Ryan Fox should be popular. I don't know if he's going to be. Harry Hall's a guy. He is a name. Wyndham Clark is a name with good course history. I could even make an argument for JJ Spawn, because people just pretend he doesn't exist, but he just continues to be very good. Also a guy that's good with the long irons.
I think you're going to see a lot of Fitz, Bobby Mack, Ryan Fox, Harry Hall. Those are the guys. And then Grazerman just below that. Weirdly, I don't think anyone's playing Wyndham Clark. People are just sick of that guy.
Well, what's interesting, Wyndham Clark's, like, if they look at the course history, they're going to be like, oh, maybe this is the tournament for him.
Yeah, but I think that people contextualize course history differently at the same time too. That when he was running hot, like even as at this point last year, like he hadn't had a ton of success in majors, but he still won an elevated event. Like Wyndham Clark's been terrible for a year.
That's right. That's true. You mentioned all the guys in the 8K range that are going to be really popular, some of which I'm playing, and I'm just kind of playing out. And I know we're doing a different lineup right now with 6,700 left, but I'm just kind of playing out what a balanced lineup might look like. And I'm going to add Harry Hall to this lineup, and I've got only 6,700 left. That's not as much as I thought, but I'm interested in doing lineups that have most of those 8K guys you just mentioned.
Yeah, you can go 5 high, 5 low. Like, let's say you leave off. Let's just say we punt Adam Scott from that and go to Grazerman, just to take a look at what I'm building over here. This is more of like in line with what I think that you were going with. Fitz, McIntyre, Harry Hall, Ryan Fox, Grazerman, and it leaves you with $7,400. Rose, Wallace, Jordan Smith coming off a really good week. Manacero, Norgard, Muller, Brian or Daniel Berger is there as well. Like, do you have a preference of any of the? I can take a look. There's Denny again. I can take a look at who kind of projects to be the most popular. Goddard, Knapp, and Perez. No one from this range is popping ownership wise, though.
I think we know McCarthy is sitting there. Tristan Lawrence is a guy I've been playing for a few weeks now. I like him at 7,200 as well.
So you could try to find your way back up if you wanted to one of these other levels where you could take Harry Hall up to Adam Scott because you're not going to use that money anyway. And then you end up at, you said Thirsty Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yeah. You like him more than Potgieter coming off the WD?
I do. I think I might like Vic Perez just as much as I like Tristan Lawrence. And I don't hate Lee Hodges, who I do think and Kevin Yu as well, who I do think Hodges has some decent course history here, if memory serves. But Kevin Yu popped for me as well.
Fucking Lee Hodges, man. That guy kills me.
Yeah.
Every week. I play him every week. And it looks like he's going to make a run to win. And then he misses 2-foot putts.
That's right. I had him a couple weeks ago at 110 to 1, and it's like looking good for like 2.5, 3 rounds. And then it's not looking good anymore.
Yeah. He was T12 2 years ago before we had strokes gained data. And then last year, he came T46 and didn't gain on approach, which is not something that normally happens considering he's gained on approach in every tournament since the Sony Open, where he lost 0.1 on approach that week. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate going. Maybe the slow surfaces are exactly what he needs.
Maybe. Yeah.
And listen, he's more concerned about 2 weeks from now when he can win the 3M again. So there's a lineup. I don't like this style of lineup this week. I think you're just leaving too much on the board. And I think that there are better players who are still cheap enough that you can do a balanced type build with better players than this. I know these are
I agree.
I know that these are the players that people like this week. These are the people that guys are like, people are betting on these guys to win this week. I completely get it. I could see how this lineup does really well. But instead of doing Fitzpatrick, McIntyre, Fox, Scott, Grazerman, Hodges, I mean, I bet on Grazerman. You could go Hovland, Thomas, Morikawa as your start, and then fill it up with basically the same like you're not going to get an Harry Hall, Adam Scott as your second worst player. You're going to end up with kind of that range we were just in. Lee Hodges, you could go to Christoph Reiten, who again I have bet this week, but you could go to Reiten, you could go to Cantor, and then you can get 8,100 if you really wanted to. You don't need to go back up that high. You said you like JJ Spawn?
I do, yeah, and I don't think he's going to get much attention.
So you could do a lineup like that. It doesn't need to be those 3 guys in particular. You can play the different guys you like. Like, I think that I would probably I'd get rid of Cantor. I actually like Tom Kim this week and Neergaard Peterson, and I like Nick Taylor. Nick Taylor's fallen to 140 to 1 in the outright market. Why couldn't he win here?
I feel like you never know when Nick Taylor's going to pop up. So at 140 to 1, I don't mind it. As far as this lineup is concerned, though, and I know I was really just rattling off names that I liked and just kind of trying to showcase a balanced lineup, but because Fitzpatrick and McIntyre are going to get so much ownership. I have a question for you. If we took those two guys out and we left basically the rest of the lineup, how low is too low in terms of where your top guy is? Like, would you be willing to start a lineup with Victor Hovland?
I would, yeah.
I would too. And so, like, if you do that, you're only going up from McIntyre to Hovland, you're only going up 200. And that way you can build a really balanced lineup. You can throw in Sam Burns, who's not going to be as popular as Fitzpatrick or Robert McIntyre, with Hovland, and some of those guys that are going to be at least a little chalky, like the Ryan Foxes of the world and the Max Grazermans. And you can build like still a very balanced lineup that perhaps has a little bit more win equity because of guys like Victor Hovland in it.
Yeah, you can go Hovland, Thomas, Burns, Jordan Smith, Tom Kim, Niergaard, Peterson.
I like that.
Like 3 9s, 3 7s, fade the 8s, and fade all of the top guys. Because frankly, yeah, Rory and Scheffler are a cut above. I think if you really wanted to get tricky, and I'd have to really look up what the overall ownership is going to be. Let's see if I can find the ownership here. Projected value, projected ceiling, projected ownership is not in as of yet on some other tools. But just looking at Fantasy National, just people haven't generated a ton of lineups yet is kind of the problem. But they're generating more lineups with Rory than they are with Scotty. I don't think that's going to be true to form. I think Scotty will end up being higher, although, as you mentioned, far more difficult. But I could see lineups starting like Rory Fleetwood, Rory McIntyre, because if you do that instead of Scotty, so just to show it, Scotty, Fleetwood, you have 67.50 left. If you start Rory Fleetwood, you have 71 left. It doesn't seem like much, but that really can change everything. And then if you go Rory McIntyre or Rory Fitz, I mean, can you even make Fitz work there? Yeah, if you go Rory McIntyre Fitz, you have $6,900 left. Yeah. And if you did it with Scotty, you'd have what? Nothing? 63. So I think that you're going to see one of that sort of build a little bit more if Rory's in play, that I can see him being with McIntyre and Fitzpatrick a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And again, that's going to end up being, because Rory, I think, is going to pick up a little bit of ownership, because I think you're right. People are going to realize it's hard to build with Scotty. Like that is going to end up being a very common build, I think. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. People might go a little lower. I think Ludwig and, Victor might get some attention, but this is like with 6,900. If you throw in a guy at 68 or 6,700, or like a Sean Norris, for example, that I know you clicked on, it allows you to just now speculate in that low 7K range, and it's very easy to fill out your lineup at that point.
Well, we can even find, let me just take a look at what guys in the 6s are just generating any sort of buzz. No one below. Where's Dan Bradbury's in this field? Good for him. Where's the Da Vinci Code at? How much is that guy? Dan Brown. He won last week. He's $7,100. Great. You can go with him if you want to. Let's see. Matty Schmidt, Wrighton, as you said. But like when I talk about people interested in these guys, they're going to be 4% max. They're probably going to be 2%. Honestly.
Yeah, that's right.
Rosner, Putnam, Valimaki, Laporta, who you mentioned. Langesk is there. Who's had some really good run at this tournament in the past. I think this is where course history comes more into play. We're talking about these $6,000 guys where, hey, this 6,700 guy here has been inside the top 25 each of the past 2 years at this tournament. Now I will take him because of that, versus Wyndham Clark's around just much better informed players. That's a reason not to play him, kind of thing.
So another guy, I agree. Another guy to consider, and I might be pronouncing his name wrong. Is it Connor Syme or Connor Seam?
I think it's Connor Syme. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Outlaw Tour Maven, Connor Syme.
I don't remember him from the Outlaw Tour.
I think
that's interesting.
I think he was one of the Scottish guys that were on there.
Okay, fair enough. I remember some of the guys. Like we've got like the Paul brothers and KK Limbasuit and whatnot. Connor Syme has made 4 out of 5 cuts, T15 here last year, and I believe he just won on the World Tour. So he might be a guy to kind of like Laporta, who again, I think is just kind of really showing really good form on the World Tour, good enough for me to think it translates among the PGA Tour players.
Let's see, what tournament did he end up winning?
KLM, was it?
Did he win the Dutch Open? He did win the Dutch Open. Surrounding his win at the Dutch Open, miscut, T59, miscut.
Yes, but look at his experience here. So you've got that one flash win, which was somewhat recent, and he's got a pretty good, for somebody named Connor Syme, a pretty good track record here.
All right. I can be sold on that. There's like real PGA guys down here, though. And if I'm going to take some loser from the DP World Tour, give me Daniel Hillier. I love betting on that guy, and he loves shooting 90.
Carl Phillips is in this field. Oh, your guy, Pavone.
Yeah, Pavone is here. You know what? It may not have been Connor Syme on the Outlaw Tour. I'm pretty sure it was Callum Hill on the Outlaw Tour.
Okay.
Oh, God. Toasty's in this field? That sounds like bad news. Chantal Kreviatsik. She's here. Whatever that guy's name is. Sean Norris. I think I would just rather go with Sean Norris.
I get that. Henrik Norlander. Joe Highsmith.
Well, what do you make of the... There's a bunch of former live guys in the field this week for the first time ever in an actual PGA Tour event. Wiesberger's here, Chikara's here, and Cantor is here. They're all in this tournament. I love that. I love two of those guys.
Is it you love Cantor and Chikara?
I mean, I love Chikara.
Yeah. He makes sense. He's a distance guy too, correct?
Yeah, Mean Chikara, $7,000. Let's get him in that lineup. And then I can use Norris, or actually I use Laporta. You like Laporta? I'll chuck him.
Yeah.
And then we're left with 69, and we can use Reiter if we want to.
Mm-hmm.
Or who else is at 69? Let's see. Van Rooyen, Woodland, Ewan Ferguson, Bridge Mania, trying to run wild. Cantor is actually right there. Mac Hughes, Wrighton, Schmidt, Marty Cordova, former Baltimore Oriole. He's in the field apparently.
There's I think the range at 6,900 specifically is like extremely rich.
Hoagie's randomly here. Hoagie's been really bad this year. He's having a bad summer. He was better earlier in the year, but he's been very bad for a while.
Yeah.
Not playing a lot either. Now he's a big man in all these signature events. He doesn't want to scum it down at the Rocket Mortgage anymore.
Johnny Vegas is interesting. Although I don't know about the short game for Johnny Vegas, but the ball striking's there.
Yeah, I feel like the ball striking is always there. Has he run? I have no idea has he ever played in this tournament?
That's a good question.
I can effort that for you. I have the tools and I have the will. I can find out about Johnny Vegas.
He has T36 in 2022.
That's it. I mean, it's funny because he had a T36 his last time at the Travelers too.
That's right.
Outside of that 2-week run, CJ Cup PGA Championship, he's been kind of dog shit this year. and he beat the pants off everyone in approach at the Century to open the year and still came in fourth.
Yeah. He's been off. He had that injury late last year, I think, and the ball striking hasn't fully come back yet.
So I think this is how people will deploy Mac or Rory, like Rory in some combination of this lineup. Bobby Mack, Fitzpatrick, Rory, and we filled it out with 4 DP guys. That's actually a pretty good way to get different, I think, especially if you have one of the more chalky builds at the top. You're basically playing 3v3 versus a lot of guys, but down here, that's not too bad. If I punch that one in and reopen it, what can we do with this money? Because we know that all 3 of those guys are going to be popular. Obviously, Bobby and Fitz more than most. If we just wanted to take Rory, and we're going to take Rory out, how else can we build this? We keep that core of Rory, Eugenio, Wrighton, and Laporta. We'll just try to build a different lineup. We take Fitzpatrick and Bobby Mack out of it. How does that end up looking for us? What can we do with that money? We have $89.50 left. That could be Burns. I mean, no one has mentioned Connors. I get that he's coming off of injury. Of note, Hovland is coming off of injury too. But you could go.
That's a good point.
You can go Justin Thomas, Straka. 2 guys. No one is playing Straka anymore. Like he's done for. No one wants this guy, and no one's playing Justin Thomas.
I totally agree with what you're saying about like the pivots to those 2 guys make a ton of sense.
Because now we're not playing a 3v3. We're using Rory, and then we're just using people are using Bobby Mack and Matthew Fitzpatrick. Again, I understand why. But Thomas and Straka have just simply been way better than those guys for the past 2 years.
Totally agree. I mean, listen, we don't really know where Straka's game is at right now, but we know the range of outcomes, and we know like is on both sides of the spectrum, but we know the upside is absolutely there for Sepp Straka and Justin Thomas. I mean, I don't even think you need, especially the way this is different on the bottom end, I don't even think you need to play both of those with Rory, but you certainly can. And I think that's great. But like the way this lineup is built with some World Tour players that are just not going to be highly owned at all. If you really wanted to play either Bobby Mack or Fitzpatrick, you still could, and then still play a contrarian guy up top like Straka and Justin Thomas, and still have a pretty solid lineup.
Yeah, I'll switch some of these guys out. I'll take out Wrighton. I'll put in Bridgman. You like Bridgman, just to mix it up a little bit, because I am playing these lineups that we can mix it up at the bottom a little bit more. But building that core from the bottom, I think we've kind of identified the guys that we like. I can see myself. I'm going to enter that one, but going back to this lineup, I believe this was it. Yeah, this one's tough. 67. Who do we have in at 67? Scheffler, Hovland, Norris, Bridgman, Neergaard, Peterson. At 67, you can have Stone. Matt McCarty is probably my favorite, and just you said Connor Syme. Why not go with him, right?
Yeah, yeah. The form is decent.
The form here is decent. Additionally, we could use Patrick. We could use Davis Riley for the same price. Wind
Riley's
aficionado, Davis Riley.
I wonder, Davis Riley. I wonder what his experience is here as I'm looking it up right now.
I mean, the guy's been good in 2 tournaments ever, so probably bad if I had to guess.
He was T35 in 2023. I don't know how he got there. Miscut in 2024.
Since his kind of run earlier in the year, he is now his ball striking has fallen apart. He has been in the negative tee to green each of the past 5 tournaments, including and that's even at the Rocket Mortgage. It wasn't just the U.S. Open or the Travelers against the very best fields. And this is essentially stronger than a signature event. So don't forget that. Whereas Straka's been fine. He's just been shit on the greens. He's left 4.5 strokes and 4 strokes in each of his past 2 tournaments. If he just putts well, he's fine.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If you're not comfortable with where Straka's at, Straka goes in the tank putting sometimes. He also gains 9 strokes putting sometimes.
Yeah, I think the fact that this is classic DFS where everybody's just forgotten about Straka. He has the same ownership as Corey Connors, and at least you could make the excuse for Corey Connors, we're not sure about the injury. I understand Straka's form has been a little off, but I mean, he's way too low. I mean, he doesn't have good history here. He's checking all of the boxes in terms of why not to play him. But I don't think what people are appreciating is that Sepp Straka can, in my opinion, he can pop at any time, especially at a tournament where, listen, after Thursday, it's going to be, it's not like it's going to be easy, but there's going to be plenty of birdies out there. And Straka's your guy for that.
He really is. I mean, he's beat up at the John Deere. He's beat up at the Amex. And obviously he made a ton of birdies at the Cricket Club. And he is second to only Scotty Scheffler in strokes gained approach this year that he's going to start pin seeking. Is it weird that Shane Lowry never plays this tournament?
Yeah, that's got to be a prep thing though, right? For the Open Championship. He just doesn't want to play the week before. Maybe
he hates Scottish people.
Let's go with that.
That's what I'm trying to build. I asked Jeff that question on Monday as well. Fitz. So I think this is my favorite type of lineup. This is the one that we built with the guys that you liked, that balance build from the 8s. Mm-hmm. This is Fitz, McIntyre, Scott, Fox, Grazerman, Hodges. I'm going to enter that. And then I built my version of that. And it was Hovland, Thomas, Burns, Jordan Smith, Tom Kim, Neergaard, Peterson. I feel we might have less than half the ownership of that other lineup.
Well, that's the thing. Mine is just basically really chalky. I don't think people will have necessarily that roster construction because they're going to want to get a guy, at least Victor Hovland or above. But with mine, I almost because I'm not playing Robert McIntyre. I might play Fitzpatrick, but I'm just going to avoid who I think is going to be the highest owned guy and pivot to Burns, who's also got some ownership, but not nearly as much. In my lineups, I'm going to roll out a lot of those guys, but I'm not going to have them all in the same lineup. Robert goes for Sam Burns is in, and then I'll probably get off somebody else like Grazerman in a lineup like that. That's super chalky.
So the last one that I'm going to build is this one. It's going to be that win probability that I was looking at earlier. And this is a tool that everyone's going to have access to very, very soon. By the way, as a part of my big announcement, Siwoo is pretty high up on that list. So where's Siwoo at? Siwoo, switch back to the broomstick. And then 85. Who is the best at 85? How much is Burnout? That's too much for Burns. Straka. It's Straka. Straka is the name that fits. No, he's too much money too. We need 85. Spawn is next. Bridgman's actually 20th on this list, by the way.
I love that. Again, I think Spawn is going largely ignored too, right? He's not getting a ton of ownership.
Yeah, I mean, he won the U.S. Open. How could he ever win anything ever again? I mean, that's the logic behind it, I'm guessing.
Well, listen, I think also he's not a sexy name. He's not a guy that people, even when he wins or comes in second place because he loses a playoff to Rory McIlroy, I just don't think really. I think if honestly, it's so crazy. If he looked different and had a sexier name, I think
Or
people would be
sexier
all over
voice.
JJ Spawn.
And he
What's
was like,
that?
"Hi, I'm JJ Spawn."
Like who's got like an ultimate like name on whatever or the PGA Tour? Like,
Oh, Mav McNeely.
yes, if his name was Mav McNeely, people would be like, "Oh, I'm playing Mav this week."
Of course, you can play Mav for $100 less than JJ Spawn if you really wanted to.
That's right.
Aaron
I'm
Rye
not playing
just, no one's using Aaron Rye, and he's just sitting there at $8,300. He's won this tournament before, by the way.
Yeah. I'm not playing him either, though.
I think that I will play him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd rather play him over McNeely, Pendrith, English, Clark. I actually kind of like Harry Hall. I get that Fox is a better player and probably a better play, but his ownership's going to be through the roof. I don't. His irons were really bad last time out at Travelers, but generally that's kind of the strength of his game. Fairways, chipping, great link style player. And now we're at a course where, yes, distance is going to matter, but if you're just super accurate, that's also going to matter at the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe next week's a better week for him. I don't know, but I could see it.
Yeah, I'm going for the guys that can at least push it out there a little bit. I mean, people might be thinking, well, JJ Spawn, that's not exactly a long hitter, but he's not super short either. Certainly longer than Aaron Rye. So I'm going with guys that can at least hit it a little bit.
So this is the win probability lineup. Morikawa, just based on just trying to fit it all in. Guy, obviously, if you were going for the real win probability lineup, Scotty would be in this lineup. But guys that were all inside the top 20, of overall win probability is the only way we could fit all these guys into a lineup. Morikawa, Thomas, Grazerman, Denny, Siwoo Kim, and JJ Spawn. I can assure you, unless you have just watched this show, no one will be copying that lineup. It will not be duped.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. It's a good lineup.
Well, it's not bad.
I mean, I'm not playing a lot of those guys, but in terms of like DFS in a lineup that also not a lot of people are playing, I mean, that's outfitted pretty well.
All right. Well, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience Scottish Open. I probably should have said as well, I'm betting Burmeister and Puig on Live, and I'm betting Jackson Suber, and I probably am going to bet Appy Barmrat as well.
I'm also betting Jackson Suber at Isco, and I'm betting two other guys, Chris Ventura and Carson Young.
Oh, I could bet. What are Carson Young's odds?
I think it's 45-1. It's not.
Fuck, man. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's pretty short. It's pretty short. Sorry.
No,
I'm sorry I mentioned it. I think Chris Ventura's odds are 45-1 because I'm trying to I know what I bet it at, which I think was over on DK at 45, but I can't remember if there was another book that had better odds than that. But I think it's in that 45 to 50 range.
Ventura. The odds are like, I get why the odds are what they are for that tournament, but it's a sad state of affairs over there. Oh, though I do see that Mark Hubbard has started to slip. He's at 27-1 right now. That maybe I'll just use my boost on him instead of Justin Thomas up to 50. But I do like Mark Hubbard this week. I would prefer to see a 3 next to that. Yeah. But who has fallen down? I guess I would assume Suber has been. I've seen everyone bet Suber, so
I noticed his number fell.
Carson Young 37-1.
Wow.
Give your head a shake.
That's nuts.
Suber's down to 55-1.
That's crazy. It was 80 last night.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've bet him. I know Jeff bet him. You said that you bet him. I've seen other people. He's like the guy that people are betting. A lot of people are betting Thorbjornsen now too. He's down to 13-1.
I don't like. Listen, I like Thorbjorn. I like Kevin Roy. I'm not betting them at those numbers.
I could see betting Griot at 19-1. At least he's a PGA Tour winner who just came second.
Where do you see Rico Hoey's number at?
22. I really wanted to bet him too.
Too low.
It's of note. This is a different course than the last 5 years of this tournament. It's really short. So if there's some sort of accuracy iron putter, where the hell is Ben Silverman? Is he in this tournament? Oh, he is. He's good Lord. He's only 100-1. Oh, Zesty DTR. You can bet here too. Brandon Thompson Robinson. That guy loves being fucking first round leader on the DP World Tour. He loves firing an 11 under. You know what? FRL. BTR, Brandon Thompson Robinson.
Dorian Thompson Robertson.
That's
quarterback.
So who else? I thought Patton Kazire was on Live. Apparently that's not true. No, that's the other guy, Hudson Swafford.
I'm
Zach
looking-
Blair lost in a playoff at this tournament last year. He's like 150 to 1. And he's a short hitter.
Zach Blair's playing pretty well.
Is
for
he?
the record.
Is that true, or are you just making that up?
No, like last week he played pretty well. I remember having him or betting against him in a 3-ball, and he was holding his own at least for a couple of rounds. Martin Laird at 100 to 1 is interesting with that profile.
Party Marty. I'll never forgive Party Marty for stealing all my Matthew Wolf money at the Shriners with the most ludicrous shot on the 16th hole I've ever seen.
You'll have to remind me. What was it?
He put it behind a tree on the par 3, and it's I've played Summerlin a bunch of times now, and like I went to try to mimic that shot, just like I tried to mimic Bryson's bunker shot at Pinehurst when I was there. Didn't go well for me on the 18th hole, but the shot that Laird hit, I just don't know how he got the ball to stop. It seems impossible, but he did. Then he made his par and got into a playoff and beat Matthew Wolf.
Matthew Wolf, and that was the last time we ever heard of from Matthew Wolf, at least on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, Blair has actually gained at least 1.7 strokes on approach in 3 consecutive tournaments, one of those being the U.S. Open. Is his accuracy high? Because he doesn't need any distance here. Oh, yeah, he's still hitting like every fairway.
Yeah, I'm betting him too. I'm adding him.
Zach Blair, Zesty BTR. And where's Kiri? Kiridesh has to be some sort of ridiculous number. Where's Appy Barnred? Just look for the longest name on the list.
I can't believe you're betting him. That's
Why not?
hilarious.
He finished like T11 somewhere recently.
I didn't know that, but
Also, how old do you think Kiridesh Appy Barnred is?
44.
35.
What? That's impossible. That's his son.
Smoking kids. It'll get you.
Where is he? Wait. Oh, Steven Stallings. I thought that was Scott Stallings for a second. Jim Herman.
Oh, the Herminator. He's won this tournament before. It's probably why he's playing. Oh, in honor of Portrush happening next week, in honor of his 87 in the final round, after being in the penultimate group with Brooks Koepka, JB Holmes is 1,250 to 1 to win this week.
I'm seeing that Matthias Schwab is 1,000 to 1. Like, isn't he like kind of good? Like, what happened to Matthias Schwab?
Oh,
like a year ago, he would be like a guy in the 6K range that would be like, oh, Matthias Schwab, let's throw him in our lineup.
Jack Senor, Cristobal del Soler. There's a first round leader bet if there ever was one. Campos.
Ooh.
Patch Adams is 300 to 1. Robin Williams. Good Lord, this field sucks.
Shubaka Sharma. Speaking of the DP World Tour, Sharma.
Oh, man, Sharma used to be so good. So remember I was telling you what the guys open at versus what they are now.
Yeah.
So Carson Young opened at 65 to 1. He's now 37 to 1. Stephen Fisk opened at 45 to 1. He's now 70 to 1.
That's because people realized it was a different course and they're like, oh, Fisk is a bomber.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Coles makes sense here. Justin Lauer makes sense here. Like, that's probably the range I would go to, honestly. Just these guys that I know that can putt and have hot irons. If distance isn't going to be the mitigating factor here, which it still might be. I don't know anything about this course, except for it's the 3rd shortest on tour and has the 3rd smallest greens. So either immaculate iron play and putting or short game.
I mean, I'm convinced that Zach Blair is actually going to win this tournament now after our 60-second discussion on him.
Well, it's a name. We saw that he's playing in this field, so might as well fire. Maybe I'll play him, instead of playing him 150, I'll play him 140 with 8 places to see if that works. He's like the only guy that I'm taller than on the PGA Tour.
It's the perfect course for him.
There we go. Not a long bomber, but good with the irons and can make some putts from time to time. Sia, not later, but you, every morning. CBS, and you had is this a live show you guys are doing with fans?
So it's 2 different shows. I host a show on CBS Sports Network called The Early Edge, but the morning show, that's usually at noon or 1 o'clock. But the morning show is on the Sportsline YouTube channel.
Yeah, hold on, that's not that early.
Yeah, but that's not the show. The early show is 10 o'clock.
Okay, but the Early Edge feels like it should be earlier.
Well, it depends on your perspective. It's probably one of the first shows that come out that's live that has bets for setting up the day.
Okay. And the second show, sorry for cutting you off.
No. So it's 10 o'clock Monday through Friday on the Sportsline YouTube channel, which is an arm of CBS. And then, of course, on CBS Sports Network later. But the real show that I'm talking about is the 10 o'clock in the morning show.
And you're doing that. What day is it live?
Monday through Friday. It's live every single day.
When are you going to New York for it?
Oh, that's tomorrow. That's July 9th. That's Wednesday night. We're gonna do a meetup at the baseball game.
Is it for like fans of the show, or is it just for people who host the show?
No, it's for fans of the show. We're gonna probably, I don't know how many people are showing up, but we got a lot of people that are showing up for that, and a lot of the Early Edge cast is gonna be there as well.
Is Rick going to be there? Is he on that show?
No, Rick's on the Early Wedge, which is the golf arm of the
This is
Early
all
Edge.
very CBS. You talk to Joel and sort this out.
Who's Joel?
I don't know. I thought Joel ran, or is Eric still run all this stuff?
I think it's probably Eric.
Yeah,
There
you talk
probably
to
is a
Eric.
Joel.
You
Don't
talk to
disrespect
Kay
him.
and be like, listen, Pat says you need better names. It's too confusing for him.
The point is, if you're subscribed to the Sportsline YouTube channel, you catch all the shows. They're all on the same channel. So that's how we make it easy.
Easy stuff. You can find Sia over there. You can find me at the PME. Give me your favorite first round leader. It can be Zesty BTR as well for the I was going to say the ISIS championship. It's probably not what it's called. The ISCO championship or the ISCO. We'll get him in there. Zesty BTR. What a guy. Glad we ran through that field to see that he was playing, because that dude, like I said, loves hot opening rounds and then not coming anywhere close to winning the tournament. That is his entire jam. So you sub to the channel, you smash the like, and sub to the newsletter of all the final plays out on Wednesday evening in case I do end up adding something. All right, I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Mayo experience. Experience.